crafting a closet that dreams are made of right from scratch. In today's tutorial I want to show you how to make a balloon, also named bubble skirt, and you'll see that it's quite simple to make and you don't need a lot of supplies to make it. So let's get on with sewing this skirt. First of all, let me show you the pattern. So this is the pattern. You'll need inner layer and outer layer. Inner layer will be quarter circle skirt and the outer layer will be a full circle skirt. The measurement that you need is your waist multiplied by 1.5, the result divided by 2, and you will have the result for me is 52.5. The length of the skirt, depending on your style, measure the desired length of the skirt from your waistline or below, add seam allowance also to this length, and also taking into consideration the waistband, you will put 2 or maybe 4 centimeters depending on your style. To the outer layer, add 5 centimeters extra to this measurement here. So for me is 40 centimeters, I will add 5, and the outer layer, my length of the outer layer will be 45 centimeters. To calculate the radius for the inner layer, take this measurement here and divide it by pi. Pi is 3.14 and multiply by 4 and you'll have the result. And the outer layer, take also this measurement here, divide it by pi, and this is the result. And you also have a panel for the waistband. The waistband is your measurement here plus 2 centimeters seam allowance, and the width of the waistband will be 7 centimeters in my case. If you have a wide elastic, you can add here, of course, make the elastic waistband bigger. The measurement of the elastic will be your waist circumference. You'll need 2 kinds of fabrics. I will use this viscose for my outer layer and also this viscose for my inner layer. I recommend that you will have a drapey fabric, a light and drapey fabric. So let me show you on this little piece of fabric how to measure and how to fold and how to measure your inner layer and the outer layer. You'll of course need to do this with your actual sizes. This will be your selvage edge of the fabric and this will be the outer edge. You'll have here a 90-degree angle. For your inner layer, you will fold it on the 40-degree angle, your fabric. So grab from one side and fold it at 40-degree angle like so. And we'll have here a 40-degree angle, and it should look your actual fabric folded like so. And from this point here you'll have to measure your actual radius. For me it was 66.7, so I will go until I have my radius 66.7 and I will draw a circle around. So let's take my radius, let's say 33 in half, and from this point here measure 33 all around. Until you reach your edges. So this you will cut on this line here. So this is your cut line. From this line here you will have to put your skirt length. So for me it was 40, and I will also add my seam allowance 43 centimeters. From this line you will have to measure like so and measure, keeping your measuring tape at this line as reference. Measure and mark your length. Let's say that this is my length, and your skirt will be from this point. This will be your inner layer. Now let me show you the outer layer. So for the outer layer you'll have also your fabric like so, the 90-degree angle, and you will have to fold it on your grain line, and you will have your 90-degree angle like so. And from this point here, you will measure your radius. For me was 16. And let's say that I will put 8 to demonstrate. And from this point you will measure, like the inner layer, your radius. And you will cut also on this line. And from this line you will measure your skirt, your outer layer length. Remember that the outer layer will need to have 5 centimeters extra than you did for the inner layer. So if I made my inner layer of 43 centimeters, I will add my 5 centimeters and I will make my outer layer of 48 centimeters. So I will have 48 centimeters. From this point I will measure 48 and go around, and I will make my circle like we did for the inner layer, and this will be your outer layer. So when you open, it will be a half circle. You will have to cut also two of these panels. I've cut my panels, my inner layer, one piece, and my 2 outer layers. So now we have to stitch them, and the inner layer, this will be the inner layer, fold it also right sides and stitch your seam here. So now what you have to do is take your outer layer and make 2 rows of stitches at the bottom. You have to make your stitches loose with your longest stitch length possible, so we can gather our bottom of the skirt. When you gather the bottom of the outer layer, what I recommend is to stitch one panel at a time. What I mean is you start at your side seam here and leave long tail of threads and stitch until you reach your other side seam. Leave also long tail of threads here, and next leave a gap here of a few centimeters and start your other row stitching, also leaving long tail of threads, and stitch until you reach the other side seam and stop, leaving also long tail of threads. So this way it will be easier to attach your inner layer. So I've gathered my bottom layer, and now I will attach my inner layer. Your outer layer is on the wrong side. Take your inner layer, find your side seams. Here we have one seam stitched, and pin this other end so we know where is the other side seam. So matching the bottom of the outer layer with the bottom of the inner layer, right sides together. I will pin only my side seams, matching my side seams. And now we'll have to match the bottom. We'll have to gather the outer layer to match the bottom of the inner layer. And now we have to match one panel at a time. So distribute the gathers evenly. I've made it. I've pinned my panels together, and now I will stitch them in place. And this is how it looks stitched. And now let's match the waistline and bring your inner layer inside of the outer layer, matching the waistline. So on the inside you should have the right side of the outer layer. And now we'll have to stitch the layers together at the waistline. So I will pin them in place. Fold the elastic right sides. Grab one end of the elastic and put it here. Fold your waistband over the elastic. And grab the other end of the elastic and put it on top. And now stitch all the layers together. So this is how it looks. And if you open the waistband, your elastic will go inside. And now we have to stitch the end of the waistband and pull the elastic while stitching to match the dimension of the fabric. So this is the waistband. You can also top stitch to have this effect on the middle. And now take your seam of the waistband and put it one side to fold it in half and mark the other end. Put a pin here and grab your skirt and at the waistband put one side at the side seam and the other side, which we mark, at the other side seam. And now we'll have to stitch it. So we'll have to pull the waistband to match the skirt. And I will also finish the raw edges with my serger, and that's the skirt. And that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoy watching it and that you learned something new today. If you do try to make this skirt, I would love to see your results, so make sure to tag me on Instagram to see your photos with the dressmaker. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, you can leave them in the comments below. And stay tuned to my channel because I try to post new sewing videos every week. And thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy sewing!